I'm going to open up the meeting for tonight. The Town of Winchester Zoning Board of Appeals meets tonight in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, 40B, and other applicable laws. There is a sign-in sheet at the entrance. We ask that you please sign in. Wincham will be televising this hearing. There will also be an audio recording. In attendance tonight, we have zoning board members, myself, Dorothy Simboli, David Feigenbaum, Mark Anderson, Herbert Kazarian, Andrew Sabat, and Lauren John. Tom Ashton will be producing meeting minutes. The applicant is Brian Melanson of Melanson Development Group. He's being represented by attorney Mark Vaughn. The applicant's proposed project is located at the corner of Washington and Swanton Street, specifically 278 and 297 Washington Street, 12 and 16 through 20 Swanton Street. Mr. Melanson has applied for a comprehensive permit under Chapter 40B for the mixed-use development of 64 rental units with ground floor commercial space. Tonight, we will hear from the applicant, accept any new correspondence, take public comment, review waivers, and vote. I don't know if we're going to vote on the petition, but that's probably not going to happen tonight. As a reminder to anyone addressing the board, you must give your name and address for the record. So the first thing, we have meeting minutes from February 11th. Does anybody have any comments on those?
Move the way accepted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Mark Anderson.
I, Dorothy Simboli.
I, David Feigenbaum.
Okay, moving on. Mark Anderson and I have both rehabilitated per the Mullen Rule, and we have signed the statements verifying that we have examined all evidence received by the Zoning Board of Appeals, and including an audio video recording and meeting minutes, so that we can continue to participate on this petition. I need motions to accept the following: an updated unit list, final architecturals, updated waiver, and an email from David Feigenbaum with regard to the design of the entrance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Mark Anderson.
I, Dorothy Simboli.
I, David Feigenbaum.
Okay, moving on, can we hear from the applicant?
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. Pleased to be before you tonight. For the record, attorney Mark Vaughn, representing the applicant, Mr. Melanson, who's here as well. Honestly, we don't have much, if any, new information to share with you. I think the chair and member Anderson were not here physically at the last meeting, but I know it sounds like you've updated yourself on the testimony, what was submitted. But you know, the peer review reports had come in on the engineering, as well as the report back from Matt Schuman, the town engineer. I believe those elements are in order in terms of civil engineering, stormwater, and you know, there were some suggestions that Mr. Schuman had in terms of conditions as it relates to traffic, which we were comfortable with. As you made mention, we did submit these plans, which really are new. It's not new information. I think it's really just documenting what had been described and presented to the board previously relative to the floor plans and the exterior elevation. And I know you also made reference to the waiver list, which that is consistent, just so the board understands. We did not add any additional waivers. We actually eliminated one waiver, which we felt was actually not necessary based upon you know, the civil engineering stormwater peer review. So we eliminated a waiver that was waiver number 28, but we eliminated that. But we didn't add any additional waivers. And as I think I had made mention before about the waiver list, it may look like a long list, but it's in some respect, it's because some of them overlap. So there might be different sections of the bylaw that speak to the parking, for example. So we had to reference different sections of the bylaw to correspond to same. So, but I don't really have much more to offer as far as new information. I don't think that we have any new information other than what has been submitted, and certainly appreciate all the time and effort that the board has spent on this in the past several months, and hoping that we are in a position to wrap it up. I did have an opportunity to talk to Town Council Karis North, who I understand can't be here tonight. I don't know if she's communicated with the, but I think her preference was to have us continue the timeline for the board to close the hearing, but in an ideal world, I guess if the board could kind of express its position such that, or I don't know if the board was going to be taking a vote on it tonight or not, but the thought, at least as I understood it from town council, was to then utilize the next several weeks to work on a decision and appropriate conditions. But I don't know if that's consistent with what was communicated. She was here at the last meeting, and I think she did indicate that as well. So
Yeah, I think she indicated that, like typically, we would close the public hearing, and then we would use the next 40 days or up to 40 days per law to deliberate and make a decision. But she, in practicality, thinks we should leave the hearing technically open so that if we do have questions that need to come back to you, we can still do that.
yes.
So I mean, we can discuss that, but I think it would be, from a practical perspective, it would be good to be sort of wrapping things up tonight and then moving forward, having us do our deliberations over the next few weeks and making a decision, and then and then we can be closing it, and she can be writing the decision, or she'll draft the decision for us. Yes?
I think so, yeah, I mean, that was my, I guess that was my understanding.
Right, so even though it's technically open,
Yeah.
we're not gonna be sitting here,
But they don't start drafting until we have
we've made our,
officially come to a decision, so.
correct, well, yeah, and I believe our town council does the drafting, correct, or?
Yeah, I don't know what her expectation was or the board's expectation with regards to that. I'm, happy to be of assistance in that regard. Obviously, the board ultimately needs to look at whatever is there for a decision with conditions, but to the extent that, it would be helpful for us to participate in that, we're here to assist.
Yeah, I think that was her expectation, is
Yeah.
that she would be drafting it and changing it
Yeah.
to you so that, and then coming back to us. You're good with that?
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything else? Do you want to discuss your entrance, or that was just for the record that you did that?
We don't need to discuss.
Okay. I have one thing that I would.
But I just want to be clear, so she's gonna do a draft, but we're gonna review the draft before.
Correct, yes.
It's ultimately, I mean, they'll negotiate, but it's ultimately our decision, right, when we render it, so.
Right.
Yes, we'll definitely.
I don't think I follow the mechanics of how you leave. You're supposed to close the public hearing by the end of this month, but somehow you leave it open. And she was trying to explain that at the last meeting and said, "Oh, you'll be here at the next meeting to make sure we understand."
Well, technically, we're not going to close it. So Attorney Vaughn has granted us an extension.
Yeah, I did prepare a letter that I brought with me.
What is that date?
I, at her suggestion and request, did grant an extension of time for the board to close the hearing until the end of March 31st. It was my understanding that she had indicated that we're going to try to coordinate a meeting for maybe the third week of March, perhaps, to review a draft decision. But I guess that's between all of you. But so I'm happy to present that, but to Harut's question, we would be extending the timeline consistent with what town council had indicated.
Got it.
And there are limited dates, by the way. That, there are three. Wednesday, March 25th, Thursday, March 26th, Tuesday, March 31st, and Tuesday, that would be this time. So we're down to the 25th and the 26th. Is everyone else available?
Did she say the third week of March, or are those dates are the only dates that are available, or, yeah?
I mean,
It's not entirely clear from this, but
it's not entirely clear from
it
this.
says available dates are those three, stay away from March 10th, 18th, 19th, and 23rd.
Okay.
Which fall into that third week, but I suspect they're also
And I think it has to do with,
select board.
I think it has to do with when this room is available, so then we would just have it in the water room. Which I don't think is a problem.
Okay, if that's a meeting that you were expecting me to be at, I can't do the 25th. I have another hearing that night, but if it could possibly work around that date,
So the 26th. What? Oh my God.
It's just a kid's birthday.
now I really feel bad.
He's
You know what?
17, he's had a bunch of them.
You don't want to put that on next conflict.
Depends on the meeting. You can, that's fair. I got you.
We'll have them draft a condition.
I mean, it very well might be just say whatever, voting on, whatever, anyway. Well, we can try to do a motion continue to, well, she said stay away from 10, 11, 18, 19, 23, so I actually don't quite know what she means.
Yeah, but I don't know if like the 24th and the 23rd, are those also not available? Presumably not.
We want to just say tentatively for the 26th, and if we want to coordinate outside, then and see what.
I think
She
once
wants to
we continue-
I think once we continue, we're stuck with that date, so we have to continue a date sooner
Earlier,
than that.
just in case, yeah.
You-
That doesn't necessarily mean that Attorney Bond needs to be there, it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean that
I mean,
this board,
yeah.
that this room has to be available.
Right, I mean, it could be downstairs is what, and, you know, yeah, so I mean, if you wanted to do the week prior, the 18th, 19th or something, then that's, and then if for some reason a room isn't available and has to be moved to the 26th, I guess that's a,
Yeah,
An
she
option,
said stay away from the 18th to 19th.
oh, never mind, okay, yeah, so
What about the
17th.
17th? Are you pretty much tied to Wednesdays and Thursdays?
No, it's just this one hearing I have on the 25th, which I know is happening.
Oh, so you,
Yeah, I'm not available either.
what?
17th.
Not available the
17th.
17th.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
Oh.
he'll be here, he just wouldn't be making decisions.
Actually, might be fun.
It depends on that.
That would actually be a fun meeting.
So maybe not that.
Yeah, so you help us out. You wanna take it to like 11th or the 12th? Do you wanna continue it, when's our next meeting, our next one's the third week, right, the
Our
19th?
next official meeting is the 19th.
And you can check out with them.
That, we already have this area over
There for it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
know
know,
she
maybe
said
she
stay away from the 19th, but is there that much new other stuff on the docket, but.
I think there are several. Aren't there three?
I haven't looked.
There are three new members.
That's more than 3 weeks away.
I think there are three new ones, if I remember.
What about the 12th? of March? It's the second.
Well,
That calendar, something?
I could do that. Does that leave enough time?
Well, we can continue the 12th, and then if we're not ready for Attorney Bond at that moment, then we can just continue the 26th. We just need to continue.
And it's, sorry, it's the thought that by the 12th, they would have some semblance of a draft ready for us to look at?
That's fine.
Also be, make sure he's also cognizant of that.
Yeah.
From a
Yeah.
traffic standpoint, that
Yeah, I think that works. I mean, I might not be the final meeting, but maybe it's the penultimate meeting. Not to use big words, but yeah.
I mean, I just don't think the following week is realistic, right? Unless you wanna do the 19th.
I can do the 19th.
I didn't really discuss that aspect of it. Sorry. Any feedback on this?
say, why don't we have to do something, right? We can push to the 12th, because that's something earlier, decide, Carl about rooms, docket for the 19th, et cetera. Worst case, we push it to that, if we go on with that.
That's fine.
But
Yeah, and we only need 3 of us to continue, we don't need everybody. Is that okay?
Are we talking about the 19th or the 12th?
We're gonna continue
A
to
little
the
bit.
12,
Okay.
just to give ourselves the ability to talk to Carl and say, is it, you know, maybe we meet on the 19th, can we add this on to our regular meeting?
Okay.
But I don't wanna,
I can't be here the 12th, but
you
if
don't
we-
have to be.
Well, if we're not doing substantive.
Yeah,
issues,
that's what I figured.
free
I
to
just
go
wanted to
continue it, so.
Right, did you already do the date?
I have.
Yes, I'm good. Okay, so let's, do you wanna do a motion to continue?
I move we continue.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
we need, let's do that again.
Yeah, I was about to say, we do that, we're.
Okay, so we got a date, we're gonna do 12, we're gonna talk to Carla and see if there's any reason why we can't do the draft on the 19th, which is our regular meeting, and if all else fails, we'll continue to the 26th. And that's the birthday.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. Well, or we can, yeah, the 12th, we can figure out another date. Okay. Okay, so I have one comment, sorry to bring it up so late, but hopefully you'll be agreeable to it. Do you know what the tree of heaven is? I know is your landscape design person.
He actually is not here tonight, but
It's an invasive, it looks like poison sumac, it's an
Okay.
invasive species. Take a look at it. It's present on this property, and I guess it has to be removed in a very, I mean, I know you're gonna be doing a lot of digging and pulling everything up, but you need to make sure it's completely removed or it will come back. It's highly, highly invasive. And, to the extent that it's like on abutting properties, I know I can't obligate you guys to do this, but it may have to be like approaching the butters and saying, you know, this is a highly invasive species, we're trying to plant this landscaping, you know, is there any way for, us to also remove it on your property?
Do you know where it is on the property?
I don't.
So was a report from the tree committee or?
It was witnessed.
I think we saw when we walked.
We were
down
sad,
the-
yeah, we saw it, but I don't remember where it was. We saw it
I think when we walked down
when we
the
did our,
asphalt drive, the asphalt part on the left side.
I mean, the only place it can be is on those 2 sides.
Yeah.
So I think I saw it everywhere, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's invasive. So would we have your agreement
Yeah,
to
well,
sort of make best efforts
yeah,
to,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's just gonna be
talk
a
to your
continuing nightmare if we don't get it.
exactly. So talk to your landscape person and
Yeah.
research that on how to make sure it's sufficiently removed.
Right.
Whenever I see it on my property, I personally,
Get the shovel off.
oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, seems to be inaptly named. But
It smells like rancid peanut butter.
Is that what it says? I'm always a little nervous because I'm like, poison sumac, tree of what, tree of heaven, which one is it? Anyway, okay.
So are we accepting the request to extend the hearing until the 31st of March?
We can make a motion to do that.
so presented, yes. I can get this electronically to Carla.
Just for my, and this is just an edification question, but if we don't extend, right, we say, okay, we're shutting down public comment, we can still meet to deliberate.
Correct,
Right?
for 40
We just
days.
can't, if anything comes up, we can obviously take your testimony and all that.
Correct. Yes. So the only other thing we have is, do you guys want to go through the waivers one by one?
Has anyone consulted with town council about, her opinion on the waivers?
No, and she's not. As we heard.
Yeah.
I think we should give them more attention than either.
You'd like town council present.
I want to go through. with town, yeah,
We
with town council and let's go through.
Well, we're
I
getting,
think they
or
are
review
important.
review an opinion from town council, which could have been provided by now.
We just present some of them issue, they're gonna start drafting and we haven't yet approved the waivers.
We don't have to, well, my opinion is they could proceed on the theory that we're gonna accept the waivers and you just
I mean, to
bullet the
Attorney
ones I
Von
don't
point,
like.
these have been in front of us for a while, absent one of them coming off. So
Right.
I don't have any, when I looked at them a while ago, I didn't have any questions.
I don't have any questions on that, but I'm not sure the town council has gone through them and given them requests. So that, I guess that would be my only hesitation.
Yeah, admittedly, I mean, I don't believe she has. I mean, I think, as you all know, she's somewhat new as town council, and I don't, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure she has or not. It hasn't been indicated to me, but I'm just sensing that she may not have.
Would it present an issue to you to like proceed assuming that these are fine, that we're not?
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. And look, I mean, we're not, the waivers are, just taking a step back, 3,000-foot view of it, right? I mean, I think they're consistent with everything that we've always proposed and what I believe the town as a whole understands needs to be granted for waivers or exceptions to allow the project, right? I mean, the use isn't allowed in this zoning district, right? So I think everyone knows that. So obviously that's a waiver. The size of the building exceeds the FAR requirement. We have, some setback relief that is on there, but it's very much consistent with what we had always envisioned it to be. We've talked about the parking relief. We feel that the parking number is very much justified. In fact, it's, more parking than what you see for some of the projects in the CBD right now. But we took a conservative view on the parking and assumed that this is where it's a little bit fuzzy, right? Is that if the use isn't allowed, then how do you know what parking requirement to apply to it? Because the parking for multifamily sometimes depends upon what zoning district you're in where multifamily is allowed, right? So we assume 2 per unit, which obviously we don't meet, but we feel very comfortable that parking ratio works. And those are really the waivers that, the height of the building complies. I know that was a big item that a lot of folks wanted to make sure that, we weren't going to be taller than the surroundings. But to the extent the board needs to digest it more and get the opinion of town council on it, then that's fine. But I just wanted to make it clear that we're not looking to, alter the waivers from that which I think everyone assumed from the beginning we would be needing for the project.
Right. And there's pretty straightforward. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to go through them now, or,
I would say if we're gonna ask the town council to at least have a chance to opine and let us know if she has any concerns, then, is that helpful for us to go through?
okay, and so I guess then we're gonna do this on the 12th. So we'll do it on the 12th.
Or to Bruce, when at least have something from her saying, yeah,
And
less.
I'm gonna go through them again. I assume that on the 12th, council will have comments and reply to comments and likewise. We'll just we'll throw them up in the air.
Okay, and to the extent that you can't be there on the 12th? If you want to submit comments? Are you comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable with that.
You're comfortable with them right now?
I'm basically it too, but
I
I
if
just
you
want to
guys
go,
want that, yeah.
I want to go
that's
through one
extra-
more time, because I think they're
extra
important.
I think they're fine. I think almost, no offense to anybody, I think town council's opinion is worth more. I think you just want to make sure there isn't something that should be in here that isn't. You then have to come back. That would be my concern. I'm sure
Yeah.
you caught everything more. Just
I try to, look, some of them are procedural variances in a way. Like, I think as the board knows, you require site plan approval for any, use if it triggers certain things, right? So we're simply saying, since, the way the comprehensive permit works, as I'm sure everyone knows, is that this is the board that approves it all at once. So it's one comprehensive permit, hence the name, right? That is supposed to be inclusive of all other zoning approvals that you might otherwise need. So we just wanted to make it clear that getting this approval means that we don't have to come back and then get site plan approval from the board because we're exceeding a certain size limit. Yeah, exactly, right. So some of those variances relate to those nuances, like earth removal permit. If we're removing earth, then we don't need to get a special permit for that because it's included in here. But
Okay.
I mean, I'm fine with it as long as it doesn't impact the ability for them to continue moving this ball forward.
Okay. I also have a list of all the units. Does anyone have any comments on them? Which ones have been identified as affordable? Comments good?
Yep.
And Mark, these are all 80% AMI?
No, actually, let's see, there are, should have this memorized by now, but it's,
13 at 80 and 3 at 60.
yeah, so 16 affordable in total. 13 of them are at the 80%, and then 3 are at the heightened level of affordability of the 60%.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
I thought there was a breakdown, but I was confused with projects, so.
This is Michelle Littlefield from Cube 3. This is the same list that we submitted to the town housing office and they approved it. The only change in this updated list is I've highlighted some of the units have flipped location. One bed and 2 bed have flipped location from Washington Street to Swanton Street on the 2nd and 3rd floor, so those are just highlighted for reference.
Has the housing authority approved that flip flop?
Not officially, no.
Do they need to?
I don't think so. I think it's on you to approve it as part of the comprehensive permit.
Okay. Which unit was that?
I gave you a highlighted copy, a color copy as well. Might be easier to see. No, that's okay. 203 and 209 have flipped. 303 and 309.
You see these in your sleep?
I try not to memorize the numbers themselves. Memorize everything else. So it's just the 2 bed that used to face Washington Street now faces Swanton Street, and the 1 bed that used to face Washington faces Swanton. And that's just to do with, as we redesigned the towers on the buildings, the windows didn't work with the unit layout, so we needed to make some slight tweaks with the demising walls between the units, but the counts are the same, the 1 beds, 2 beds, 3 beds.
The designation of affordability didn't change.
Correct. The affordability designations did not change, so when the 2 bed moved, the affordable accessible designation moved with it.
That's what I was.
Yes.
Move them around.
Yes.
Okay.
And as Mark said, the plans that we submitted today are basically just documenting, so we have one clean set of plans to replace the September set, but I can walk through them if you'd be interested in that.
I don't think you need to walk through them, but we all understand that in the end, when we vote on this, it will be based on a set of plans that we provided, and that's what you're gonna build unless it's a substantial change and you come back. So I think what you're saying is what we provided is that set. At this point,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. Anyone want to see that on the big screen? Thank you so much. for all
Thank you.
your work on it. Okay, anything else?
No, it's good.
Is anyone here for public comment? Okay. So do I have a motion to continue?
I think first you're gonna
Oh,
accept that.
oh, I'm sorry. You didn't do this yet?
Yes. Just showed up. We should probably accept the February comment letter for everything.
Are you ready?
You're good at this one.
I move to accept February 25th, 2026, a letter from Attorney Vaughn in reference to an extension of this project to March 31st, 2026.
Second,
All in favor?
I'm Mark Anderson.
I heard this voting.
I didn't tell you that.
And then another motion to continue.
Yeah, what
Is that accepting the request? Or is that, did you just accept that letter into the record?
I accepted that letter to the record. We're not going to continue to the 31st. That just gives us the window through the 31st.
Well, no, we have to.
But that's a request to, right? I mean,
Yes, we're allowing for an extension of the timeline for the board to close the public hearing until March 31.
And having a separate continuance of this meeting to whatever we just said, March
Yeah,
12th, right?
So we accepted, did we accept the grant of?
That's, I thought we had extension.
Yes, we did that.
We did, I thought we did.
Tom, you have that in the record? Yep, it should be there.
I thought you accepted that the letter, that you've received the letter, which is a request. I didn't realize fine, as long as, listen, this stuff's important to the, to somebody. So whoever that.
For completeness sake, I will move that we accept Attorney Vaughn's extension of time for this hearing through March 31st, 2026.
Second,
Is that more?
more or less.
All in favor?
I understand.
I heard this voting.
I didn't tell you that.
Is that enough?
Sure.
Something's troubling you, Mr.
No, it's not. I just, and I don't want to be too forward with this request. So it sounds like we'll be continuing to March 12, at which time there'd be a more formal discussion on the waivers and whatnot. But is it fair for me to surmise that the board seems reasonably comfortable with the project and that barring any unforeseen circumstances, that it's something that is passes muster with the board? Or
Well, I think we're not gonna vote on that, but
yeah,
from my personal point of view, yes.
okay,
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
okay, all right. It's just helpful for us to know as we're trying to,
Wrapping this up.
yeah, as we are as well. And
I
I
love seeing you guys every few weeks. But
yeah, right. But everything good has to come to an end. Yeah. Okay. Well, appreciate that. Thank you.
I think that the only, I was gonna say the only outstanding thing is, we need to figure out the logistics of when you guys do sample, when you actually have the real materials and you're doing samples in the field, which who knows when that's gonna be.
Yeah.
What does that approval process look like?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I think that, Brian, you correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm misstating here, but I think at one point there was discussion about having Dennis Carlone perhaps stay on in a consulting role. Yeah, and I think that's fine. I think I may have objected to that at the time, just being very cost conscious, and we're still very cost conscious, but if it can be done in a manner that is not too, expensive, I guess. So I think that would be fine.
Really good working relationship.
As do we, yeah, so,
Michelle and your team.
right. So we're fine with that role of his staying on to, verify the materials are consistent
That's
with.
far more efficient than you guys having to come back in front of us or the building commissioner coming back asking us to get involved.
Agreed.
I don't think we need to be involved on that level of detail.
Okay.
Great.
Yes.
I wonder if we could ask Mr. Vaughn, maybe you think it would be appropriate to submit a draft of basically the motion that we would pass if we agree on it.
For that specific,
No, for the project.
Well, that's
Yes, we are.
That's the
his
decision.
decision. That's the draft decision.
Well,
That was my interpretation.
well, okay, but there are conditions, there are all sorts of aspects to it. What you present, I would like to include, the motion that you want us to adopt based on the pile of stuff that you provide.
Oh, okay.
So we know, so that we're not floundering at the end as to
Okay.
how we're gonna phrase the motion.
Okay, yeah, I do. I think that might be something between myself and town council
Sure.
would be the right, Team.
You're talking about like a list of conditions is what you want to see,
Well, the
basically.
whole thing, yeah, what are we approving, what are the conditions, what's the timing, whatever goes into one of those.
How is it?
I'd like to see a draft of that
okay.
presented at the meeting.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's very efficient. Do I get a motion to continue? Are we all set? Anything else for us?
No, I think, good. Yeah.
Well, good. We
Yeah, all right.
we appreciate working with us. I thought it went very well, very professionalism. And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
We're looking forward to this.
Okay. We're gonna continue this petition to, March 12th.
Petition 40BZ-25-43-1 to March 12th at 7 p.m.
Second.
In a place
In
in
a room to be determined in this building.
town. Second, all in favor?
I don't know.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
Motion to any other additional matters before the board? Anything else anybody else wants to bring up? Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Time recognition.
I don't disagree.
I do the same.